Welcome to the Building Bridges for Adults workshop on Hinduism. Hinduism is a faith so ancient it is considered indigenous, yet it has grown through the millennia to attain a high level of complexity and sophistication. Furthermore, it is followed by more than 900 million people, nearly a billion human beings around the world. Hinduism takes many different forms. A famous Hindu saying is, "Truth is one, sages call it by different names." Hinduism shares with Unitarian Universalism the belief that individuals are responsible for finding their own path to truth and that there are as many legitimate paths as there are individuals. Here are some of the most common beliefs of Hinduism. Strict belief in a god is not necessary to Hinduism. Some Hindus might say they believe not in a god, but in an ultimate reality. That is, the force behind the universe. Yet most Hindus understand this reality as God. Some Hindus say that their religion is monotheistic, with a belief in one god whom they call by different names, with Brahman being the most popular. However, Hinduism has literally thousands of gods and goddesses, and some Hindus would say that their religion is both monotheistic and polytheistic. All these gods and goddesses are seen as facets of Brahman. They spring from the Hindu understanding that ultimate reality is too big to be grasped by most people all at once. People can, however, understand a god who oversees material possessions or a goddess who is a fierce protector. The nearly infinite variety of gods and goddesses is suited to a nearly infinite variety of human beings and human needs. In Indian culture, the fact that Hinduism is both polytheistic and monotheistic is not a contradiction. It is not important to define the religion in this manner. One label could be considered insulting to Brahman, while the other makes the various manifestations seem less important. The understanding that something can be both monotheistic and polytheistic, is a belief you will encounter again in other Eastern religions such as Taoism and Confucianism. The fundamental energies of the divine are seen as both male and female, with masculine forces representing the strength of peace and awareness, and feminine forces representing power and energy. 5 gods and goddesses are the most important. 3 of them form what is sometimes called the Hindu Trinity: Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Brahma is the creator. In Western religious thought, there's a lot of emphasis on God as creator, but in Hinduism, Brahma the creator, or the facet of Brahma that creates, is actually the least important of the Hindu Trinity. Vishnu is the preserver who protects and preserves. Shiva is the destroyer and god of change, because all material things come to an end. In these 3, we have creation, preservation, and destruction. The other 2 of the top 5 Hindu deities are Durga, goddess of war, and Ganesha, god of success. These 2 can be seen as somewhat balancing each other. They are deities to support people in conflict or in prosperity. 2 other popular Hindu deities are Lakshmi, goddess of wealth, and Kali, the scary one, also called the Black One, goddess of death and rebirth, and the cycle of creation. Kali, which literally translates as time, is the fiercest image in the Hindu pantheon, with her many weapons and her necklace of skulls. She is often shown doing a dance of birth and death that occurs literally on Shiva, who smiles up at her. He might be the god of change, but she is the active force that causes change in the universe. Hindus will often pray to Kali when they want to change some negative behavior, since there's no nonsense about her. When something needs changing, Kali changes it. Among the most important concepts in Hinduism is the idea of non-attachment. But non-attachment to what? Non-attachment to the results of your actions. This can be hard for Westerners to grasp because it seems to say we should not care about anything, whereas our society tends to value passion and caring. But what non-attachment means is to not allow the results of our actions to make us happy or unhappy. Most Hindus are vegetarians, believing it is wrong to kill an animal for food. But even Hindus who eat meat believe it is always taboo to eat beef. Some people think that Hindus worship cows, but this is not true. Cows do hold a special place in India, where they are protected and often treated with great affection, but there is a very practical reason for this. Most people in Indian society survive by farming. Cows produce milk, a great source of protein, and their dung is also used in many ways, particularly as fertilizer for crops and fuel. A cow, which provides wealth in multiple ways, is considered too valuable to be butchered for food. Cows are considered good gifts for high priests. On Gopastami, the cow holiday, cows are washed, decorated in the temple, and given gifts in the hopes that they will live long and continue to contribute to the well-being of the family and farm. The ultimate goal of Hinduism is to be relieved of the cycle of rebirth. Hindus traditionally believe that the soul is reincarnated, that after death an enduring soul moves into another body and another life. Karma determines where the soul moves. Karma refers to your moral actions in life. Positive moral actions lead to good karma, and negative ones lead to bad karma. The better your karma, the quicker you move through the cycles of reincarnation, and the sooner you reach the end. Liberation from the cycle of rebirth is called moksha, or enlightenment, and it leads to the soul becoming one with the ultimate reality. This process is sometimes called nirvana. Nirvana is originally a Buddhist term, yet the concepts are similar. Absolutely fundamental to Hinduism is its recognition that people are different. Like Unitarian Universalism, Hinduism recognizes that people see the divine differently, hence the many gods and goddesses. They think and act differently, and they respond to different things. Also like UUs, Hindus believe that there is no one single path to understanding God, that the roads to enlightenment will differ as much as people do, and that no one road is more legitimate than the next. There is only the one that is right for you. This is directly acknowledged in the 4 yogas of Hinduism. In the United States, the word yoga typically brings to mind a type of physical exercises with a spiritual component. However, in Hinduism, the meaning is more significant. The word yoga comes from the Sanskrit word for union or joining. The 4 yogas are 4 different approaches to reuniting or rejoining with the divine. Our Unitarian Universalist children learn a simple chalice lighting that can also help you to remember the 4 yogas. The chalice lighting goes like this. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. We are the Church of the Open Mind, the Helping Hands, and the Loving Heart. The first 3 yogas will be easy to remember from this chalice lighting. They are the yoga of thought, or the mind, the yoga of work, or the hands, and the yoga of devotion, or the heart. The 4th yoga is more abstract. It is the yoga of contemplation. So, the 4 paths to enlightenment are through knowledge, through good works, through devotion, and through spiritual contemplation. The first 2 paths, knowledge and good works, are self-explanatory. The 3rd path, devotion, does not mean just to love God. It also implies carrying out actions to demonstrate your reverence, such as worship and prayer. Spiritual contemplation, the 4th path, is frequently achieved through meditation, but it can include physical action, such as the practice of yoga. Every path is valid. All lead to God or the ultimate reality and are therefore equal, but all require steady, energetic effort. To transcend the delusions of the spiritual world and to fully understand the divine is no small task. Also, the 4 paths are not always separate and distinct. For example, to demonstrate devotion to the gods, you might give to a charity, which is also a good work. To increase your ability to contemplate, you might take classes from a yoga instructor, in which you learn that mindfulness is part of the practice of yoga. Learning yoga would be a good way to address both the 1st and 4th paths. More Hindus follow the path of heart than any other path. However, this does not mean that they neglect the other paths, and most Hindus would say that one should practice all 4. Thank you for listening to the Building Bridges workshop on Hinduism. Check out our Facebook page for more information on this topic.